First at noon, nearly 2,000 healthcare workers are on the picket lines in Hawaii as part of a multi-state strike against Kaiser Permanente. Casey Lund has the details from Mauna Lua.
Yeah, aloha from Kaiser's Mauna Lua Hospital. I want to show you the scene here at the road up toward Red Hill. You can see hundreds of union members are here, and you hear the chants, fair is fair, we want our share. They want a contract. The contract on their table ups their pay and increases some benefits, but you're going to hear from a union member in just a moment that says that's simply not enough. First, I want to play out a part of the statement that we got yesterday from Kaiser's management. Take a listen.
At the heart of this negotiations is a dispute about wages. We've recognized our employees' hard work and responded with a strong proposal that provides immediate benefits. Alliance represented employees currently earn, on average, 16% more than peers elsewhere. Our latest offer increases their already above market wages by an additional 21.5% over the 4-year contract. The offer also enhances employees' high-valued medical plan and retiree benefits.
I want to introduce Tau Faiu. She is a worker here, and I wanted to ask you. We just heard from we just heard from Kaiser Permanente about the deal that's on the table. Over 4 years, 21.5% increase. She also went on to say that you folks are already 16% above many other people nationwide. Is this not enough still, though, in Hawaii?
Well, according to the regions, we have a couple of regions within with Kaiser. We are not at the top. We are probably below. Like I said, Northern California makes about $13 than me doing the same thing. So to me, that's not enough. With our economy here in Hawaii, that kind of money is not sustainable.
And beyond that, I know one of your other big concerns is patient care. And I want to, if you don't mind, share this, that your husband just had open heart surgery here at this Mauna Lua facility where you work. You're worried about his care.
Yes, I am, because a lot of our people that do a frontliner care, like our hospital aides, dietary department, they're the ones who really are there to give the good personal one-to-one care. So while they're out here, I'm worried about my husband being there, you know, and so that's why I'm fighting for this safe staffing and pay.
We want to thank Tawa and the other union members that spoke to us today. Of course, we offered a live interview to Kaiser management, but they provided us with that video statement. A reminder that these folks will be here until 9 tonight. They say they'll be here until 7 a.m. Sunday unless a contract that is agreeable is offered to them. Reporting at Kaiser's Mauna Lua Hospital, I'm Casey Lund for Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Case. Staff at the Maui Lani Medical Office in Wailuku are also on strike. These workers, which include pharmacists, therapists, and more, are demanding safe staffing, job protection, fair pay, and benefits.
What I want the community to know is we're not walking out on you, we're standing up for you. So coming from a long line of non-union healthcare work, I've seen how dangerous it can get if the employer is not held accountable. So just know when you see us out here fighting for what we feel we deserve, we're also fighting for what we feel you as a community deserves.
Kaiser Permanente says the dispute really centers on wages. The company says anything beyond what was already offered during negotiations would require them to increase rates for members. Meanwhile, in California, this is video from outside the Santa Clara facility where tens of thousands of frontline Kaiser Permanente registered nurses and healthcare professionals began their strike this morning. The union representing Oahu's bus drivers says it has not called a strike, even though Oahu Transit Services yesterday warned riders about the impact of a potential strike. Hawaii Teamsters Local 996 and OTS have been negotiating a new contract for the city's 1,400 drivers, mechanics, and office staff since their last contract expired in June. In a statement overnight, Teamsters President Kevin Holu said OTS denied its latest counteroffer and then canceled the 3 remaining bargaining sessions for the week. Even so, Holu says no strike has been called so far. Meanwhile, OTS says the union has refused to give advance notice of a strike. If a strike is called, OTS says they do not have temporary drivers scheduled to take over routes, and riders would need to find other transportation.
Oh, very hard.
This is your only way of
Very
traveling?
hard because every day I catch the bus. Hard to all commuters.
OTS and the union last negotiated a contract back in 2018.
And happy Tuesday, everybody. Again, we still have that high surf advisory on north and west facing shores. Right now, that's only for Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, and the north facing shores of Maui out there. It's going to continue until 6 p.m. this evening. At northwest swell is peaking today. A quick look at the large surf that we've got on north and west facing shores, around 12 to 16 feet. On north facing shores, west facing shores, around 8 to 12. Again, the peak was this morning. We're going to start to see the surf dropping throughout this evening. South facing shores, a few box jellies out there. East facing shores still a little bit choppy. As we're moving into the back half of this week, we're tracking a better chance for scattered showers and maybe even a few isolated thunderstorms. I'll give you the details on that coming up.
Thank you, Drew. Today marks 2 full weeks since the shutdown of the federal government began, and this evening the Senate is expected to vote on an 8th time to pass a House measure to fund the government, but the two parties remain divided over health care. Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill.
I'm an air traffic controller here. Do you want to help aviation safety by ending the shutdown?
This member of the Air Traffic Controllers Union handed leaflets to travelers outside Reagan National Airport in Arlington, Virginia, Tuesday to highlight the impact of the ongoing government shutdown.
The American worker that lives paycheck to paycheck, which is almost every air traffic controller, cannot last without pay.
In a social media post, the White House Office of Management and Budget said Tuesday that it is preparing to, quote, ride out the Democrats by continuing to pay troops and law enforcement and more reduction in force notices.
We are closing up Democrat programs that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.
At a news conference, Democrats called the Trump administration's layoffs illegal.
Firing and threatening to fire federal employees is part of the Trump administration's campaign to inflict trauma on our federal workforce.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has warned this shutdown could be the longest in history as lawmakers remain deadlocked. But President Trump says his administration has identified funds to at least pay the military, a move some Democrats say is likely illegal.
My understanding of this is they have every right to move the funds around. If the Democrats want to go to court and challenge troops being paid, bring it.
The Senate is planning another vote Tuesday evening on funding the government, but there are no signs of any progress to end the stalemate. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Meanwhile, major airports across the country, including Hawaii, are refusing to play a video of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem blaming Democrats for the shutdown at TSA security checkpoints. In the video, Noem says in part, quote, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay, end quote. A spokeswoman for Hawaii's Transportation Department said the videos that air in the screening area are meant to direct people through the security screening process. Other airports not playing the video include Portland, Las Vegas, Atlanta, New York, and New Jersey. President Trump posthumously awarded Charlie Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor today, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In the White House Rose Garden, the president presented the award to Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk. Tuesday would have been the conservative activist's 32nd birthday. Now, Kirk, who was a friend and political ally of the president, was assassinated last month during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. The House and Senate approved resolutions last month, making today a National Day of Remembrance for Kirk. Grammy Award-winning R&B singer D'Angelo died Tuesday at the age of 51. The artist's family says he passed away after a long cancer battle. D'Angelo released 3 albums in his career, 2 of which won Grammys. His 2014 release Black Messiah is considered a standout in the genre of modern neo-soul. An alleged confession from the man accused of setting a townhouse on fire in Nanakuli last week. Court documents say after his arrest last week Wednesday, 54-year-old Keith Mahoy told a detective, quote, I'm bipolar and I burn my parents' place down. Police say multiple witnesses on Helelua Place saw Maui enter and exit the unit before it went up in flames, causing $700,000 in damage. No one was hurt. Maui is charged with first-degree arson. His bail is set at $100,000, and he's due back in court tomorrow. The man accused of releasing pepper spray while trying to rob a First Hawaiian Bank in Waikiki last month has pleaded not guilty. 66-year-old Charles Christian is charged with second-degree robbery and is set to face trial in December. 18 people were sickened in the incident. His bail is set at $100,000. Hawaiian Electric is facing a delay in getting money from customers to pay for its wildfire strategy safety. As Daryl Huff reports, regulators want to take several more months to review HECO's $350 million request.
Hawaiian Electric submitted its wildfire safety strategy to the Public Utilities Commission in January, then in May submitted a request to charge customers $350 million over 3 years to implement the plan. But the PUC says it needs more time to review both the plan and the money to pay for it.
HECO is trying to catch up to something they should have addressed years ago, and they want to bill ratepayers for the fact that they've been delaying dealing with the issue.
After being blamed for the Maui wildfires of 2023, HECO immediately began ramping up prevention tactics like clearing high grass, replacing poles, lines, and other equipment, installing cameras to spot fires early, and power shutoffs when fire risk is high. It's been absorbing over $100 million in costs.
In terms of it being a hardship, the work's getting done. These are actions that we're taking every day. Related to resilience and safety, making sure that our equipment isn't the cause of a fire.
The Wildfire Safety Strategy's $350 million 3-year charge to customers stunned the PUC, which wrote, "The magnitude of the company's request is beyond what the Commission initially envisioned." The state consumer advocate said it is imperative that Hawaiian Electric prioritizes and implements projects that are critical to addressing public safety or other critical purposes. A report card from the consumer advocate's consultant found the plan mostly sufficient but needing improvement, with unsatisfactory ratings for how it determines the highest risk for things like power shutoffs.
They have overhead lines in high wildfire risk areas, and their solution would be, well, we can turn them off in high wind conditions, low humidity conditions. But that means that communities that are in rural areas are more likely to be impacted negatively by this.
HECO says it's listening to its critics.
We just recently hired a meteorologist, which we've never had at Hawaiian Electric before, and this is something that someone who is going to help us track that data and review the data to see how we can be much more precise.
If approved, the wildfire surcharge would be highest on Maui, probably $4 to $5 per customer. But it's unclear now when it will be approved or hit those bills. The PUC is still accepting public comments on both HECO applications. We have a link on our website. Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Daryl. You'll soon have a chance to weigh in on how the state should spend funds collected from the new green fee. Starting tomorrow, the Green Fee Advisory Council will be accepting public feedback for projects the funds could be used for. It's important to note the money can only be used for projects centered on natural resource enhancement, hazard mitigation, or sustainable tourism. Head to greenfeehawaii.org to submit your ideas. The portal is open until November 1st. Ahead on This Is Now, a desperate plea for help from the Maui Humane Society. A look at the dogs that will be euthanized if they're not adopted by the end of the month. Plus,
President Trump celebrates a peace deal in the Middle East, but questions remain about the next steps. I'm Natalie Brand with what's happening on the ground in Gaza today and the lingering concerns of Israeli hostage families.
the Maui Humane Society says 18 dogs will be euthanized if they're not adopted by the end of the month. The shelter says right now there are 63 dogs on campus, but only 43 kennels. On top of that, there are more than 250 dogs still in foster care.
Those dogs that are in foster, they can come back at any minute. Any minute, and that happens daily. And so this doesn't actually cure a space issue. And I think that's what people are focusing on right now, is that this is not a space issue. We're trying for 3 weeks and we're hitting it from all different angles, right? To try to get, we're aiming for live outcomes. The bottom line is that the animals are suffering in our care.
A staffing shortage also makes it challenging to care for all of the animals. To adopt, foster, or donate before October 30th, visit hawaiinewsnow.com. And on Oahu, the Hawaiian Humane Society needs towels, blankets, and linens due to an influx of puppies and kittens with diseases like parvovirus. You can drop them off at the Mo'iliili campus or the Kosasa Family Campus at Ho'opili. There's still fresh peace agreement between Israel and Gaza is already showing signs of strain over demands over the return of the remains of slain hostages. But getting the bodies back may not be that simple. Natalie Brand has the details from the White House.
President Trump, sir, is Hamas holding up their end of the deal, sir?
President Trump says Hamas needs to abide by the agreement to return all of the hostages who died in captivity.
I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back.
The remains of just 4 were handed over to the Red Cross Monday. Families of the hostages are demanding immediate returns of the others.
In no way we're going to stop before we get all the hostages.
Israel is calling that a violation of the agreement and is responding by cutting in half the number of trucks delivering aid into Gaza. But retrieving the bodies may not be that simple.
Maybe under the rubble, considering the intensity of the conflict over the last days, particularly in Gaza City.
President Trump, who arrived back to the White House overnight, says he's committed to his 20-point peace plan. He says the next phase will focus on rebuilding Gaza.
Restoring the basics of a good life. We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building. It's not so much rebuilding, it's really building.
The World Bank and others estimate the price tag could exceed $50 billion.
What is needed in Gaza today is monumental, and every single country around the globe needs to chip in to make it a livable place for its people.
The plan calls for a demilitarized Gaza with regional and international partners helping develop a security force to protect civilians. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we're tracking this disturbance to our northeast. The details on the scattered chance for rainfall coming up.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
To it, here's what we're tracking over the next couple of days. We still have that high surf advisory out on north and west facing shores. We're also tracking the trade winds building back in over the next couple of days alongside a wet and unstable weather pattern by the time we get to the middle and back half of this week. A quick look at our first alert radar and satellite. Not much going on out there. A few trade wind showers just offshore. But as we zoom out, you can see this very weak disturbance that's going to be moving in from the northeast. It is an upper level low, so there's a lot of uncertainty with this forecast going forward, but we want to walk through our first alert futurecast as we're going forward. We're going to take this slow so you can see where we have the best chance for rainfall. As we're going into Wednesday afternoon, typical windward showers, maybe a band of moisture moving in from the northeast, but late Wednesday into early Thursday morning, we've got a better chance for showers, maybe a few downpours, and potentially even a few isolated thunderstorms as well. That's going to continue throughout Wednesday evening, Thursday and Friday as the disturbance is moving in from the northeast, and potentially even seeing some showers and thunderstorms early Friday morning continuing into the afternoon. This is a scattered rainfall event. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be a washout. There's a lot of instability across the atmosphere, so we've got to watch it pretty closely. We're going to keep our eyes glued to the radar over the next couple of days. Our winds outside right now, we've got northeasterly winds. The trades are going to continue to build back in over the next few days, really into the weekend. We'll be seeing breezy conditions out there. Our first alert windcast as well as we're going forward into the rest of Tuesday between 10 to 15 miles per hour this evening, and a little bit breezier for Wednesday afternoon. This is Wednesday around 2 p.m. Take note of the time up there. Between 10 to 15 miles per hour over on Maui and Kahului, a little bit breezier around 21 miles per hour. A similar story as we're going into Thursday afternoon. Again, our high surf advisory is up for the north and west facing shores of Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, and the north facing shores of Maui until 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Here's another quick look at the numbers. North facing shores around 12 to 16 feet, west facing shores around 8 to 12 for Tuesday afternoon, and a few box jellyfish still out on Oahu's south and some west facing shores. So let's break down our 7-day forecast. Right now we have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday all highlighted in red. It's not a first alert weather day yet. We likely won't trigger first alert weather days unless we really see a switch up in the models. You can see again scattered rainfall, 30% chance of rain on Wednesday, 50% on Thursday, and a 60% as we're going into Friday. And trades, breezy trades, stick around this weekend. Stick around. Come back after the break. We'll have more stories and more news coming up.
now, more than 100 sausage dogs from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland raced in Munich on Sunday at the 3rd International Dash-Run competition. The reigning winner of the event didn't let his short little legs stop him, finishing the 40-meter race in just 4.4 seconds. Now, not all the dogs understand the sporting nature of the event, and some of them actually return directly back to their owners after the start.
I was going to say, some of them stopped in the middle of the raceway.
So cute.
Check this out. Scouts now have a new chance to earn new merit badges in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Scouting America, formerly known as the Boy Scouts, says the new badges are part of a broader effort to stay relevant in an increasingly digital world. The organization currently has about 1 million members in its ranks. And with the holidays just around the corner, we have the perfect thing for the person on your gift list who has everything.
Yeah, they probably don't have these. Check these out. If you're looking for something to pair with those apple-bottom jeans, look no further. That's rapper T-Pain. He's collaborating with Crocs to bring his iconic lyric, "Boots with the fur," to life and the market. The vegan knee-high boots are adorned with more than a dozen charms, chains, and embellishments. The new boot will be available October 23rd at crocs.com. They cost about $160.
Thank you for your rendition of Boots with the Fur. Can we have another one?
No. Although when I hear that song, that's not the boot I think of.
Yeah, no, that's not the boot I think of.
I think of like a Chewbacca foot.
I have nothing to add.
Thanks for watching, everybody.